So Rich stood up, and he's like, there he is. And I stood up, turned, and I got a glimpse of him standing beside the trees. Blackest black, tall, and then the light shut out. I got about 1.5 to 2 seconds of seeing him.
Tonight, while you were interviewing me, sitting in this chair, we hear commotion going on outside, and these guys basically stop our interview and say, you know, we just see something. We just saw a Bigfoot.
I saw, first time in a long while, I got to see an alpha male at my buddy Kain's place just less than a half hour ago.
When that motion light came on, they was able to have a sighting. So we went out, still on the deck with these guys, and about that time, we all hear an acorn hits me right here in the chest from a trajectory like this. Not falling down, but from this. And for me, I'm ecstatic that I can sit here and say stuff happens out on my property, and it's for at face value. You just have to trust me or whatever. But when a group of people come out here, which occasionally it happens, it validates me.
Todd witnessed it. He was outside too. The security light at the Kain place kicked off, and I thought, okay, well, those are motion sensor security lights, so if Todd's sitting here, I'm sitting here, so we didn't trigger it. So I got up to see what might have triggered it, and Todd got up, and as soon as I stood up, I turned to the right, and I'm looking off to the left a little bit, and I'm like, and as soon as I turn to the right, there he is. I had to be over 13 footer, easy, jet black, like blue black, black on black out there. My hair's still standing up.
The thoughts that went through my head were thousands at a time, but the biggest one that stuck out was, they're real. I seen one, now it's time to get him on camera. But yeah, that was amazing. And then after coming and got you guys came outside. All of a sudden we started getting, well, Kain got hit with an acorn. We heard it hit the rail and then hit him, so it had to come in at the angle of being thrown. All of a sudden we started getting rocks thrown, hitting the tin roof.
What was that?
Thank you for joining us here on Exposing the Strange. We are in Hocking Hills, Ohio, once again investigating and speaking with two top Bigfoot researchers in Ohio, Richard McCandlish and Kain Michael. After our investigation during the day, which was very fruitful, Kain graciously invited us back to his cabin to shoot this interview with Richard and himself. What we didn't know would happen was that after this interview, when we were shooting Kain's solo interview, Richard and Todd were waiting outside and witnessed an alpha male Bigfoot standing near Kain's driveway. After we all ran outside, things got really wild, with something throwing rocks on Kain's metal roof multiple times and hitting him in the chest with an acorn right beside me. We hope you enjoyed this very informative interview by these two gentlemen with many years of combined field research experience. Remember to like and subscribe here and go to our website, www.exposingthestrange.com, and sign up to get updates on our latest videos and information emailed to your inbox. Enjoy the video.
I'm Kain Michael, live here in Hocking County. Known Richard about a year now, I'd say.
Yeah, about that, yeah, about a year.
As a crow flies, we live about 15 miles from each other, even though it takes about 30-35 minutes to just the way the roads are out here.
Yeah.
But yeah, we got together through various people kept mentioning us in the same circles. Found out that we lived relatively close to each other and both had some knowledge, so we started going out and doing some research together.
Yeah. Well, the public, they kept mentioning to me, Richard, you need to get and you need to hook up with this Kain Michaels guy, and I said, okay, where's he from? I didn't know anything about him, and they said, well, he's actually not far from you, and so I said, sure. What the public wants, and I kept hearing it. I guess on your side, you was hearing the same things, correct?
Yep.
They was like, you can hook up with Richard, they told me I need to hook up with Kain. So for the public's interest and the curiosity, here we are. We're together. We don't, per se, work together, but I've convened with him. I've taken him to the pit to see also tracks of unknown origin, and he has seen that, and anybody else that I've taken down there has seen it as well. And like I said, to the public they've been wanting me and Kain to hook up for some reason, maybe to get quicker answers possibly out in the field. Wouldn't you think?
Yeah.
I'm assuming, but at that point, I couldn't pick a better person to come out with me. Kain's really knowledgeable, and with his knowledge and my knowledge together, we should be able to not solve everything, but maybe solve maybe one or two things if possible. We do know a lot of things to begin with, but the public's going to have to wait for that because well, I'm not like Kain. He's not. We're not going to put something, just hurry up and get it out there and say what this is when we know what it is. But we need more evidence to back up that evidence. And anything that we put out there is going to be 100% the truth, and no stories made bigger than what they are. What we see, what we hear, and what we do in the field is what the public is going to see and hear. So that's what I've hooked up with Kain. Kain's hooked up with me, and that's what we're going to do. We're going to see what we can answer some questions.
It's a rare thing that you get two really good trackers together, especially in this field.
Yes.
That's usually not people's forte.
Yeah.
So when you got someone on the level of him as a tracker and the tracking that I've done, we can get together and really cover some ground, and
Yeah.
that's something that's pretty rare.
Yeah.
I haven't come across much of it besides my own research partner that I do stuff with. He's the only other person I know that does this kind of stuff, which you do.
Yeah.
And you've been doing all along, so it's kind of cool to meet up with someone that's like, wow, this guy's out in the woods like me, and he's a tracker like me,
Mm-hmm.
and lo and behold,
Yeah.
there's a lot of knowledge there from actually tracking.
From your tracking experience and some of the wood talk that you know out there,
Mm-hmm.
and then with the wood talk that I've been taught for almost 30 years, we don't have a hard time. But other people do, and some people out there are still complaining they haven't seen one still to this day. And my answer to that is, if you don't play the lottery, you don't win. If you don't stay out in the forest, you're not going to get. And I found out in the years that I've been, it was just a hobby of going to find Bigfoot, but now it's turned into cryptozoology because that's where Bigfoot is going. He's in with the crypto world. As far as I've ran into, have you run into that, Kain?
Absolutely.
Going into the crypto world? And,
Yeah, the more you're out there in the woods, the more there is to discover, the more questions you have.
there's not a lot of answers.
No,
No.
it's a lot ahead of us
Yeah.
to do, but it's real tangible evidence that we're discovering out there, and
Almost
we need
undisputed
answers.
evidence.
Yeah, we need answers to some of the tracks and stuff we found, like today. Was,
Yeah, that we poured. And the
That's,
knuckle print, the hand
yeah.
print.
Yeah, that's real evidence. One of the things while we're tracking today, this is in Richard's area, we discovered a knuckle print, a fist print, I should say, in the side of a bank that was good enough to cast. And not only did we find the knuckle print itself, which was I guess if you're going to talk about this area right here where it pushed into the mud, it's probably fingers this long is what I'm assuming as far as what I'm reading. From the knuckle down to here, it's a giant hand. But not only that, we have evidence that we're able to kind of expand to see which way it came in. It came in and it actually moved a large portion of moss, which is secondary evidence, but it's also a time stamp because this moss that was removed from the tree that was on the ground was still alive. It's still, so that gave us a time frame between that evidence and the print. You know, we knew that it was not too old because that was alive.
Still fresh.
Still fresh, so we had a pretty good print. And it was really nice to go out there. This area produces a lot, and especially to be able to bring home a cast and have something else to research.
Which is rare, you know.
Which is rare,
Yeah,
yeah.
which is rare. The area we're at is, again, it's the pit. They call it the pit, and they've deemed it the most dangerous, #1 dangerous place in the county where people go missing. And when I go there, I don't go there all the time. I only go there when I have safety in numbers. Because you will not hear, I'm not talking about the grass people, you will not hear these other critters come upon you. You need eyes, not ears. And the significance of the place is it's so deep, rich in history, even from the Civil War. There's just so many things in that place that's mysterious. I've had 2 people there that we was walking up the trail. We didn't even get down to the pit. We make a right. We stepped over to this big tree that had fallen, and boom, one guy, he's down. I'm like, hey, what's going on? And he said, I'm dizzy. I don't feel good. And he's down. And then his buddy that came up behind him, he's also a researcher, come up behind him to see what was the matter with his partner. And boom, he's down. I got 2 guys down. I'm supposed to be there for their safety. And I'm like, what's going on? What's going on? And both of them, I tried to get them both up. And to get out of there, I said, let's go back the same way we came in, past that log. And when we did, it was like a light switch. One minute they're dizzy, sick, and all of a sudden they're just perfectly fine. And they said, we don't want to go back that way, Rich. I said, okay, we'll go down the other way. I personally have never had any incidents like that in there. But everybody that I've taken there has either felt something, saw something, witnessed something, saw tracks of unknown origin, and ETs there too. And I have witnesses for that. And my grandson who witnessed it. But like I said, it's a mysterious place, and it's beautiful, but it's deadly. And that's one of the 3 places between Hocking, Fairfield, and Perry that is a hotbed of activity. And I was willing to share it with Kain Michaels to bring him in on there to help me solve some of these tracks.
Try to make that as thick as possible so it doesn't break my
Yeah. And you just let that set up a little bit, and you add a little bit more, put about this much powder in it,
Okay.
and just add about this much water, not much. You don't want to make it real watery, a little bit more thicker as you want it, and keep trying it like that.
All right.
And just see how I'm building it up, see how where that's built up, and a couple more where it's drier like that, and it'll be great. It'll pop right out of the ground and won't crack, because it's starting the heating process now, the hydrocal, where it's mixing. And hydrocal is different from like plaster and anything else. When you mix it, there's a chemical bonding in it where it heats up and it sets up really quick. I am a professional tracker, and these tracks are unknown origin. And every year, since the past 5 years, there's been another new track of some kind of critter coming in there. And I got to find out what's going on. And David Wolf, I told him, but this place is not really, it's a lot of people know about it, but there's a lot of people that don't. And the ones that do know about it, they're not going in there. The ones that don't know about it, if you're driving down the road, on this back road, you were literally past this place because the only way to see it is coming back from the other direction. And I told Todd, the wildlife photographer, I said, ask any question to anybody that's here to see if they've been here before. And they haven't. They stumbled across the sign coming back the other way because these are just hikers. And but those ones that don't know about it, they go in, they park their vehicle, and they don't come back. And 2 couples have went missing there. A single couple's went missing there. And when I found that shoe, search and rescue team just went through there 30 days prior. And I found that shoe, which the detectives went in and recovered it. 4 armed detectives. And they went in and recovered it. And I asked them if they saw anything. They said, no, we did not. And they said, well, did you see anything? I said, yeah, we had to leave in haste. I said, because I saw some kind of man thing. That's what I told him. I saw some kind of man thing. It's hard to explain. But other than that, we left out of there in haste because you had to be there to understand what I mean by leaving in haste. It's a place you don't want to stick around. I'm usually get in there around noon, and my ass is out of there around 2 o'clock. I don't hang around because you don't know who's going to come home for dinner. Okay, and with these cryptids, I don't really care too much about it don't bother me, the grass people. They're not going to bother me. It's these other crypto things, whatever they are. Okay, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
It's like
there's something about this place that it's, they call it the pit. It's extremely hard to get out if you were in a real emergency situation.
Yeah.
You're not.
You're not going to get out.
You're not. It's something that you have to go a little bit. It's just really steep, and you're not running out. So there is concern that if you're to be down there and there was a real situation, you're not running out.
No, you're going to have to stay there and face it.
It's taking, a considerable amount of time to get out of this place. So that in itself is dangerous.
Yeah.
100-foot sheer walls.
Yeah.
Through 90% of it, you can't get out. Legitimately, there's only a couple entrances into this. So that in itself makes it a dangerous place. Mm-hmm. But it produces
big stuff.
Richard put this on to me, and took me out there. The first time we went out there, we discovered some prints that I have never seen in my lifetime. I still don't have an explanation what it is, but we have physical evidence through our cast. I mean, this is a living thing. I mean, I know that. And even when I first met Richard, I did not know him that well, but I knew one thing. I knew that was prints from a living thing.
Yeah.
That can't be faked. There's residual. Everything from a print, every area it moves through, it's leaving some kind of a trace. And a true tracker can see the other movements. It's not just a print. It's the trace evidence, like the moss we talked about.
Yeah.
This was a living thing. This is there's reason to be concerned because this thing's built to kill.
Yeah.
I mean,
Meat-eater.
there's no other way to describe it except it's built to kill.
Yeah, he's not a fruit eater, nut and berry eater. No, he's strictly protein eater.
So part of that is just we want to find out what it is. I mean, it's leaving real evidence down there, and we want to investigate and just get an answer. Put a name to it.
Yeah. I've been going to the pit since I was 10 years old, and I'm just shy of 60. Another year I'll be 60, and at that time I didn't know it was the number one place in the county where people go missing. But there was a incident that happened there in the 70s where three male subjects, one was found in front of the falls. About 30-40 feet away there was another male. 35-40 feet, maybe 50 feet away from him was the third guy, and they were found pummeled to death. They had that place closed for 30 years, almost 30 years, and they just opened it not long ago. And like I said, I have access to go in there all the time because of the people, and they don't go in there, but they'll let me. And even if they have it closed off, I still have granted access to go there anytime I want. But it's very dangerous, and I won't go in there alone. Usually I won't even go in there with just one person also with me. That's two of us going in. No, I like to have more than three going in because I have that pyramid shape back of triangulated for eyes, not ears. I need people's eyes because, like I said, one can just leap off a cliff and get you. One come right up out of the shrubs or anything because you can't see in there, and you can't when you're walking through there, going down the path. You can't see 10 feet off the side of you, and but you hear things and you see things, and
yeah, people have an illusion. I think, especially people that don't know the woods very well, they have an illusion that you can just go and you can see everything around you.
yeah,
But with foliage,
it's a lot different.
yeah, that provides a lot of cover, and sometimes these trails that we're going through might have grass 6-8 feet,
Yeah.
and we're going through. You have no line of sight,
Please.
no visual of anything beyond 4 or 5 feet.
Yeah,
So, and that's in a lot of areas. People don't realize,
yeah,
you know, even in an area where it's less foliage, you're looking at maybe 30 yards
yeah,
out in the woods of any here, you know, where I live. You got about 30 yards, and you're not seeing beyond that.
Yeah.
That's about as much as you're going to see. So there could be all kinds of stuff out there,
yeah,
including the stuff we know about. There's bears. There's cats. There's things here that are known to be dangerous. So
Yeah.
we got that on top of whatever is leaving these tracks.
Well, what's weird is you've noticed it the whole time when I took you down before, and I've taken everybody else. I haven't seen any big cat prints or no bear prints even near that pit area. You ever noticed that?
Yep, I've never seen them. I've seen them, you know, that's another thing. If you're pretty good at tracking, you can distinguish. We know what a bear print looks like.
Yeah.
We know what deer prints look like. We know all the known animals in this area. We know what their prints look like,
Yeah,
including humans and all facets of that. These are nothing I've ever seen.
yeah. I told you when you was going down there, and you said the first time, you said, well, Richard, when are we going to actually see or witness down here? I'm going to say, well, you're going to find tracks of unknown origin. The Grassman's here. The Dogman's here. I'm researching a 6-clawed human foot thing, which you've seen, and a 3-clawed thing. And now we just poured a 4-clawed human foot thing. I don't even know where to begin. It's like where are they coming from? I just don't know.
And for the record, when I was first invited to go down there, I am not a cryptid guy. I am about Grassman.
Yeah,
And so, again, I was like, this guy seems to know what he's talking about, but I didn't know what we were going to find down there. And I was genuinely shocked to discover what we found.
yeah,
And even to add, at least to me, when you took us down there, you gave us the freedom to go look around.
yeah,
We found these. He told us kind of what we're looking for. We found them. He didn't guide us to this. He just, you know, we were over in one area. We found these. And that held a lot to me because I'm like, okay, this is not being staged. This is,
yeah.
and I'm looking, I'm like, okay, this thing moved through here, it did this, and then
You can see the movement of
personally, it was not because I had no idea what I was going, what we were trying to cast. So we saw, hey, we brought him over. Is this what you're looking for? I would have never casted it because I had no idea the claws on this thing. So he's like, hey, you know what? That might be it. Let's pour a cast. So we poured a cast, and I was amazed when he pulled out something that had claws this long. This one was the three
claw,
clawed one. It had a partial heel to it too.
Yeah.
That we weren't able to pull out. That part of the cast broke. But I was shocked. I'm like, that was not what I was expecting. Being a guy that doesn't branch into that field
in the crypto world.
In the crypto world, I'm now looking at something that you can only call a cryptid.
Yeah.
There's no explanation for it. So
yeah,
it opened my eyes. It opened my eyes to what else could be out there.
yeah. It's just it's amazing because every time that I've been going down there, not in the same year, but like say that you found a track of an unknown origin this year. Next year, during the season, you're going to see something new again. And that's, I just don't understand. People talk about portals, people talk about this. I've never seen one of them or whatever. I only see what I see. And peripheral vision, I see something roll out there. Hey, stay frosty. I got movement, you know, and that's what I tell people. And just stay. And when people with me, I don't ask them to stay quiet or, you know, because I tell Kain, and Kain knows as well too. I don't have to tell him or Todd or anybody else or you that if the Grassman, if the grass people want your attention, they're going to get it. You can be by the book, Sergeant Carter out there going, be quiet. You point your finger and say, I ain't going to be with him because he's too. No. We can be sitting here laughing, even having a card game out there in the woods. If he wants your attention, he's going to get it. And believe me, won't he, Kain? He'll get it.
Absolutely.
Me and Kain stood by the falls the first time I took him down there. We was up there. We left Kain. We left. We were putting back there, Eric, at that print that we poured. And I said, Kain, let's go up to the falls. And as soon as we got up and stopped, boom, right there between our feet, right between. That was a hell of a throw, wasn't it?
Yes, it was.
And I looked at him. I didn't look at any. I didn't look up at the ridge. I didn't look at anywhere else. I looked straight at him because I was here and he was here, but he was looking that way. And the stone hit right in between us. And I'm just looking at Kain and waiting for his response because some of the couple of people I've taken down there, we call them 18 squealers. Yeah, run. There they go. Like, okay, well, I'm not taking you back out in the field. But in the same sense, when you're out there,
You gotta have your wits.
you
can't
yeah.
scare easy.
When I turned, when that stone hit Kain, he just turns and looks at me and he goes, "Sweet," and I go, "That's what I'm looking for, man." Just the calm nerves, because down there in the pit, you either go in there with super happy thoughts or totally pissed off thoughts, as I've been taught. There's no in between. And I tell people that you're just going to have to experience it on your own when you run into a situation like that, and you'll see. Rather to have that pissed off attitude or be just happy as a lark, man. Just, wow, you're a big fella, ain't you? But you're not looking at him. You're looking down. Don't ever look him in the eye. I don't. I tried one time and I got growled at, but I don't think they like that. So I always, when I first acknowledge him, eye to eye, when he sees me, I see him, I stay where I'm at, and I usually take a knee or I sit down and do my thing, because that's where the borderline stops. Where you see him and he sees you first time, don't try to get any closer. I wouldn't. Not to say they wouldn't hurt you or anything. That never bothered me, but they'll let you know where the line stops. And that's what's. If you don't believe me, just get out there and try it. You know, Kain, that's what I always tell them. So you're not going to know until you get out there. But it takes decades. It takes years to learn or to establish even a communication with one of them, and or for them to trust you, because they're so strict, and they always learn tonal pitches and noises and tones and stuff like that. Have you noticed
They
that?
command like no other thing on the planet. They command your attention.
Yeah.
I don't care what you were alluding to when they want your attention. Everybody in that area
They're going
is
to
going
get.
to know who the boss is.
Yes,
It's
sir. Yeah.
Instant. You know, the power that
Yeah.
they have, whether it's a tree. Now, whatever they're doing, when a human hears that power, whether you see it or not,
You yield immediately
you
because
know you're in. You know,
Yeah.
he's the boss. Whatever's out there breaking this tree in pieces, that's the boss.
Have you ever
feel
had-
very insignificant?
I was going to ask you this. I never did get a chance to ask you, Kain. I've been out there. I poured a track off an Alpha Male, and which is recorded. I gave it to Doug Waller. It's from an Alpha Male. When I saw him and he saw me, it's not like a growl. It was like it came from down here. Like it's like a I can't mimic it. It was like a ground burst. coming this way. Have you ever had that experience? That not the upper, but the lower, like a sonar pulse, like a big exhale type of thing. But it was powerful. You ever felt that?
Me and my partner were out and we were tracking, and we thought we had a bear. So what do they teach you about a bear encounter? You make a lot of noise. Mm-hmm. Hey bear, hey, you're shaking a tree.
Making yourself bigger than he is.
Yeah, yelling at this thing. We couldn't see it at the time.
Yeah.
We're doing this. And next thing you know, a rock comes through and lands between us. And we look at each other like, we just messed up. That wasn't a bear.
Right.
So we were very far from our vehicle. And we were getting paced out. And at a certain point, this, whatever it was, grabbed 2 trees and forced it down like this, and when it did that, whatever, Eric heard it.
Right.
It did something to me. I didn't hear that, but what I felt, the only way I can explain is if you take a cylinder of gas and cut the top of it off, that air took all the air out of whatever had so much power.
Yeah, just the power.
This is 10 feet away from us.
What?
All we see is the trees, but the power and that air, it took all the air out.
Yeah.
And it hit you enough to where, like I said, I was stunned from it. I started to draw my weapon, and I was frozen when that happened. Mm-hmm. And all I registered is just such a powerful
power.
The lung capacity, whatever that was.
Yeah.
It was almost like if you see the movies like Jurassic Park and something that when you see the kid's hair's going back when the T-Rex is screaming in his face. That's the kind of power you're talking about. It's not like I said. It's something that display out in the woods will get your attention. I don't care who you are.
Yeah, I've heard a woman say that she was running through the woods and it sounded like 10 lions growling at their loudest, just right behind her, and she's running. I go, well, yeah, that's about right. Wouldn't you think? Powerful, and their strength is biblical. If you have never seen a youth claiming a female, I don't know if you witnessed a youth claiming a female. I did only once, and I wish I would have been there to see what the first one did, but I got there a little too late because it takes a little bit to get in this area. And the time I did, I looked down this ravine down where the creek goes around to the bend, and I just looked down and I go, man, I know that noise came from right down to this curve of this valley. So all I saw was this big dead tree that just got blown over. You see the fresh dirt and the roots there, and I just stayed there on that knoll, just looking down to her. I said, man, I know something's down there. I know he's down there. And sure enough, about 10 minutes later, he come walking out around the bend, and he just straddled that tree. And like I said, he just leaned back just a little bit, just like about that far. He just leaned back a little bit, and he didn't tilt his head up or anything. He just roared. And then like I said, I'm a retired percussionist, being an entertainer for 50 years. I know beats, and from what I was looking at down there, when he kind of leaned back on he roared, and lightning speed, boom, 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 boom. He hit that thing 5 times. And the first hit was like a bang crack, and it was just. And when he got done, he kind of looked back. He didn't roar, and he kind of looked back, and he off-stepped it, and then went 3 or 4 steps. He was gone around the bend, and I got the pictures of it. He beat that tree flat to the ground right in front of him. I mean, the tree's like this big around. The first hit was a bang crack. Split the tree up, and he just hit it 4 more times and pulverized it flat right in front of him. Not exactly the whole tree, but right there in front of him. Just boom, 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 boom. And I guess the other one, well, I don't know where he was at. I know he was close, but I guess he couldn't do that, I guess, or not, or because he took off, and I heard all this ruckus going up there on the top of the hillside on the other side. I go, he just claimed a female. You know, I go, that's what all that racket was, the beginning. And then when I showed up on the second time, and then he comes out, and bashes that tree to the ground. Well, they're doing it to claim that female, and that's it was a very unique incident in my life because, like I said, if you ever watched Hercules or Samson, well, you about summed it up because it's biblical. I'd hate to see. I mean, well, I wouldn't hate to. I'd love to see what an adult could do.
Can you talk about? Because I was very impressed when I first met you, how you go out and some of the things that you do to get this kind of evidence. Because that's what's impressive. Because a lot of people are going to question like how does this guy do this? But once you told me what you do out in the field as far as how you stake out, you're on another level. You're on a trained level that you're taking some training that you've had out into this field of research that I don't know of anyone that does some of the stuff that you've done as far as when you gilly out how long you're out there, what you do.